why it plays such an important role in your historical analysis of combating these monopolists in the past.
Yeah, so interoperability is this both very subtle and very obvious feature of our world. No one gets to tell you whose socks you wear with the shoes you buy. And if you want to replace the shoelaces with string, that's your business. The people who sell you the oats for your morning porridge don't get to tell you what pot you're going to use or whose stove you can cook it with. And the person who sells you the car doesn't get to tell you whose petrol you use. And so there's a lot of interop that's just kind of built into standardization, where if we all do things in a certain way, either because it's been formally standardized, so think of like the screw threading on a light bulb, which is formally standardized, and every light bulb fits every socket because we know about the wattage and the voltage and the amperage and the physical characteristics. And also just because there's this latent interoperability where it's just very hard for a manufacturer to reach out past the point of sale and say, well, you bought those trousers from me. Obviously, you must use my belt to hold them up. Now, with digital technology, there's a kind of interoperability that's quite profound because there is only one kind of computer we know how to make, and that is the Turing-complete universal von Neumann machine, right? It's a computer that can run every program. No one knows how to make a computer that just runs the programs the manufacturer prefers. This is a problem for malicious software, right? If we can make a computer that only ran beneficial programs and not malicious programs, it would be great for computers. We don't know how to do it. But it also means we don't know how to make a printer, which is just a computer attached to a thing that sprays, ink on a pressed vegetable matter. We don't know how to make a printer that will only use the inkjet cartridges that come from the manufacturer. And that means that historically, under conditions in which that interoperability that was latent in digital technology was not constrained by regulation, firms always had their hands stayed by the prospect that their customers in digital worlds might avail themselves of interoperable alternatives to the official offerings, and therefore improve their experience at the expense of the company's shareholders. So that's very abstract. Let me give you a very concrete example. 50% of internet users have installed web-based ad blockers, which are also privacy blockers. You should have a ad blocker. The FBI says you should have an ad blocker because of the privacy risks associated with the surveillance that takes place in digital platforms. So imagine that you're like in a boardroom table at Google or some online publication or Facebook, and they say, let's make our ads 25% more obnoxious and get 2% more revenue out of them. Under conditions in which interoperability is allowed to just kind of happen, the response from someone who doesn't care about you or your interests or privacy might be, look, if we make our ads 25% more obnoxious, 25% of our users are going to go to their search engine and type, how do I block ads into it? And then instead of getting an extra 2% revenue out of those users or losing that extra 2% revenue we anticipated, the revenue from that user drops to zero and stays at zero forever. So, Martin Luther King said, the law might not make a racist love me, but it can stop him from lynching me, and that's important. And this competition power that is built into interoperability may not make a company see you as a dignified human in deserving of privacy rights, but it may make them treat you like one.